Now look ahead to 2018, which is going to be a challenge for all of us. An exciting time, but really quite worrying. I think I'm beginning to get sleepless nights over it. You will have already seen the printed timetable that we produced. It sets out the days that we're running trains, and it sets out the actual times of the trains themselves. Now, we all know this timetable is not right. It's not going to be correct for several years. The previous timetable we used when we were running from Toddington to Cheltenham took about 5 years to get right. This is going to take just as long. There are a whole number of complications with this timetable. First of all, as we all know, our carriages and locos are not based at any terminus, which means that we have to leave from Toddington to get to a terminus, which consequently means that the train times leaving the termini are going to be later than we might perhaps otherwise wish. Secondly, we don't want to increase the volunteer day by more than a very small amount, which again concertinas up the number of runs that we can actually make during the day. Thirdly, we have to concern ourselves with lunch breaks. In the past, the lunch break was at Toddington. Well, that was fine, because for visitors who are on a round trip, there's plenty for them to do at Toddington. They can wander around, go to the cafe, go to the shop, etc. But of course, if we have a break at either Broadway or Cheltenham Racecourse, there's nothing for people to do. So we made the decision that we would actually run the trains and we would have breaks at Toddington and Winchcombe. Now, this may prove not to work. We've just got to see how it goes in time. We also, frankly, haven't got a clue as to how many people we're going to get joining the train at any of the stations. My personal gut feeling is that because there's no parking at Broadway, the majority of people will continue to come to Toddington. But there will be an increasing number of people starting their ride from Cheltenham Racecourse who want to spend perhaps an afternoon at Broadway. But we just don't know. So we've no idea whether we've got a timetable which is actually going to fit what the public really needs. One thing we have done is we have increased the length of our two main rakes by one carriage, which gives us an extra 15 to 20% capacity. So we hope that will be okay. We shall have to see as time goes by. We start running trains from Broadway on Good Friday, the 30th of March. For the previous 3 weekends, we will actually be running trains from Toddington down to Cheltenham Racecourse. Once we get to Easter, then it's open season. We just have no idea again how crowded we're going to be. I have a feeling that Easter weekend we're going to be very, very busy indeed. So what we have done is we have organised volunteer specials which are going to run for 2 days in the middle of March. They're going to run to Broadway, and we're going to invite all our volunteers and partners, plus shareholders and donors that have contributed more than a certain amount of money. More information will come out on that fairly soon, but everyone will be invited to have a ride on the train before we formally open from Broadway. This does mean that when we have our Easter weekend, we will be limiting who can actually travel on the train that hasn't got a ticket, and we will be in fact saying that no no work permits, no vouchers, etc. will be valid unless people are actually actively working on those trains. Sorry about this, but we do have to impose some rules. When we go back to 2003 and we opened to Cheltenham Racecourse, we found that several of the trains were completely full of volunteers and the public were left standing on the platform. So this year we have to try and get it right. But it's going to be exciting times. 2018 I think will be another record for us. I know that everyone is excited about it. We're all looking forward to it. So I look forward to seeing you on the platform sometime fairly soon. Thank you very much for all your support.